Welcome to another inspiring episode of the Elite Expert Insider Podcast. Hosts Melanie Johnson and Jenn Foster are the owners of Elite Online Publishing. They're both Wall Street Journal, USA Today best-selling authors. We're really glad you're here because this podcast was designed for you. Meet industry experts that share their secrets and strategies. Get successful results for your business in money, relationships, health, and your life. Each episode is going to inspire you to take action towards reaching your greatness.
Hey everyone, I'm Melanie Johnson. Thanks for joining us today. I'm here with Jenn Foster, my business partner at Elite Online Publishing. Hi, Jenn.
Hey everyone, how's it going today?
We are having an awesome day. I'm talking about the economy. No matter what the economy's doing, they're always talking about the economy. So either it's everything's trending. Should you buy this? Should you invest in that? And oh my gosh, there's going to be a recession. And they've been talking about a recession now for almost a year and a half. So they're like, it's coming, it's coming. So are we just in it or we're not in it? There's strategies to know about what to do with your money. And some of these strategies can really give you confidence. I think when you feel confidence, it takes you to a different place. And we want to bring you people that are experts that can help you get through all the minutia of money and create some passion and live in the present and enjoy the money that you do have, but spending responsibly, saving responsibly. I'll get it out responsibly. We have an expert. Mikelann is with us today, Valterra, and she has written a book. She's working on another book, and she helps a lot of people, especially women, really plan for their passions and create that life that's full without having to worry about money. Thanks, Mikelann. Thanks for coming today.
Hey, thank you. Hello from Seattle. I'm so happy to be here.
Tell us a little bit how you got started and becoming a money coach.
Yeah, the biggest question I get is, what the heck is a money coach? So I guess that's the perfect place to start. It used to be that when people were frustrated with money, they had the option of either working with a credit counselor dealing with debt issues, or working with a wonderful financial planner on investments, retirement. And I love both those fields and industries. The dilemma, though, is that I find that most Americans have both, right? They really are struggling with credit and debt. They, of course, want to build their net worth, of course, and neither of those two fields is well equipped to deal with the emotional side of money. Why do we do what we do when it comes to money? So money coaching, oh my gosh, this field's only about 25 years old, which it's still a baby field. And money coaches work with people on the practical and the emotional side of money. So I can't tell you how much I love my work, right? It's helping people really look at how do you use money to create the life that you really want. And practically, we've got to learn how to manage our cash flow, right? We've got to learn how to figure out, what do we truly want to do with our money? How do we make it go where we want it to go? And it's so emotional, right? And if anyone says that they have no emotions around money, they're a robot. I don't believe them. And like Melanie was saying, with all the stuff that's constantly up in the news around the economy, oh my goodness, it's like twanging on our rib half the time of pain. Oh my gosh, fear. So, really being able to address those fears and how we feel about money is a really big deal.
Let's walk into, you mentioned about our wants. So we have needs, right? Our needs are, we have to pay our utility bills, we have to pay our mortgage, our car payment, all of those things. Those are like a need. We have to eat,
right?
But then we have our wants. And then creating that plan so we can have our wants and our needs. Is that possible to do both? And how do we plan for that?
Yeah, no, you just cut right to the core of one of the biggest issues in money, which is getting clear on our needs, our wants, and our desires. Mm-hmm. I think that a lot of people just assume, no one truthfully is even talking about this like we are, which is why this is exciting. But we so often assume that we only can get our needs met. So why look at money? Why even talk about this? This is just depressing. I can't cover anything but my needs. But the reality is, when we really sit there and go, okay, let's list out all the things that we need and want and desire, and then really go into this discernment process around how do we build a life that really addresses all of these. And I'll tell you, one of the big keys is looking at what is underneath your wants. And is there a more creative way to meet it? So I'll just give you like a quick example. I had a client who really wanted to go to Hawaii. And we're in Seattle. So yes, makes sense that we would hop on a plane and go to Hawaii. But it was still a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 trip by the time she looked at it. And she had a lot of other things going on that were also really pressing for her resources and her money. And so when I said, what's the need underneath this desire? What's the need underneath the want of going to Hawaii? What's important about Hawaii? So when we were talking about what she got it was about sun. It was about getting out of her office and her home, not a staycation because she always got distracted and ended up working anyways. She needed rest and rejuvenation. It wasn't really about Hawaii. It wasn't about hopping on the plane. And so what she decided to do was take a week in Eastern Washington, which is desert. And she went to this wonderful resort and spa and just rested and was totally nourished for half the cost. And it was because we had that conversation of needs and wants and what was underneath the want. Was there a more creative way to meet it as opposed to saying, oh, I can't afford to go to Hawaii, therefore I'll just keep working. But just allowing ourselves to ask the question, what's important about what we want? There are times we need to find a more creative way to meet it, but it doesn't mean it's not possible if you're willing to really dive in and look at what's underneath the desire.
Yeah, I really like that you dove into the why and then found out that it really was a need. So it really wasn't a want that she wanted to go to Hawaii. It was a need.
Right. And no, you're totally right. She wanted to go to Hawaii. She needed a vacation.
Rest and no work and sun.
Exactly. And it was just so great to dive in. And you see this over and over. People say they want this and I can't afford it. And oh no, everything's sad. But there's usually at the core of all of our desires and all of our wants, something that's really important, that there is often a real important need underneath it. I work with a lot of just wonderful women and it comes up all the time in a lot of areas, but clothing, right? I want to go spend a couple grand at the Nordstrom's half yearly sale or whatever it might be, right? But the need might still be really important, even if I can't afford completely gutting my wardrobe. I need to feel attractive, or I may have a need I'm tapping into about relationship, or I may need to feel again nourished. Just because I can't afford completely redoing my wardrobe doesn't take some of these core needs of I need beauty. There's a lot of important things here.
Yeah, I like that. So what is a personalized spending plan and why is it the ultimate tool for creating the life you love?
The ultimate tool. So I hate the word budget. It's so diety sounding, not to everyone, but a lot of people say, oh, what's left over for me? I'm going to live on leftovers.
Right.
A spending plan, and it just doesn't sound good. It's like a money diet. But a spending plan is a tool that you design to say, okay, where do I want my money to go? What is the life that I most want to live? And then how do I use money to literally create this life? A spending plan in many ways is almost like an architectural wireframe. It's a framework that you build for the life that you really want. Even if you're afraid you can't do it, let's build out the framework and then start asking the questions. Where do you want your money to go? And then, we are going to look at where the money is going, because we know, and I know everybody knows this, that it's hard to get to point B if you don't know where point A is. So, we are starting to bring into alignment our spending with where we want our spending to go, but it really does need to be from the point of view of it's your money. Let's look at creating the life that you want while still honoring the things that you need to do. It might be retirement, savings, or debt payment. So for me, like my personal spending plan, that's how I've created the life that I lead, right? I don't know if I could dance as much tango if I didn't have a plan that helped me protect that cost. Otherwise, I'd probably just blow my money randomly on all sorts of stuff and it would leak out the door. I wouldn't really have enough for all the money that I actually want to spend in this other area.
I love that. It's like purposely spending your money where you want to. I remember someone told me, like, do you really want the Starbucks, or would you rather put that Starbucks money in a jar because you want a new sofa for your family room? What's more important to you, having that priority of what really is your want, desire, and it's going to create passion and make you feel good at the end of the day, and spend it on that. So you brought up debt, that nasty word, which has gone up exponentially since COVID has subsided. Everyone's creating more and more debt. So tell us about how to get out of debt, how to stay out of debt, and is all debt bad debt?
I'll hit the last one first. Not all debt is bad debt, right? Some debt is backed by something that we love, such as our house or perhaps our car. Not all debt is created equal, but that I think is the most stressful to people is consumer debt, which would generally be credit cards. And a lot of people have a lot of feelings about student loan debt as well, but it's the consumer debt and the credit card debt that you're talking about that's really gone big now that people could actually leave their house and go on vacation and all these things. So the number one thing that helps with debt, and this is going to sound totally counterintuitive, Melanie, but I'm going to say it, is to actually start saving. And what I mean is, I'm not talking about retirement. I'm not talking about your safety net. What the big problem with debt is, big things happen like vacations or car repair, but we don't have any savings set aside for what are called periodic expenses. Life is lifing along. Life's along, things happen, but we live as if our car will never blow up and we'll never want to go to Hawaii, right? So one of the biggest things I have people do is create a dedicated savings account, not their retirement, not their safety net. I know I'm repeating it, but it's really important. A dedicated, really boring savings account, like good old fashioned passbook savings account. And then transfer into that account every month from let's just say from their checking account, a certain amount of money. Let's just pretend it's $500. If you transfer money into this account for these upcoming expenses, it is what allows people to stop adding to their credit card debt. It's a game changer around having people stop adding to their credit card debt, because one of the big mistakes that people make is they jump the gun and say, how do I get out of debt? The problem is they're still going into debt. They don't have a mechanism in place to prevent the credit card from continuing to go up. So the very first step is to actually start saving money so that the next time you have a big expense like car repair or Christmas or vacation, you actually can pull that money from that dedicated savings account so that you don't end up further going into credit card debt. So part of it is the mechanism of when you're in a hole, stop digging. How do we set up systems from a cash flow point of view so that you don't add debt? And then once people are stabilized, then we look at a lot of the things that I know everyone has heard about, which is, let's look at the interest rates on the cards. Let's look at potential consolidation. One of the big things that I see is people have too many credit cards. And so they're in a lot of money fog. So, the more cards you have, the harder it is to get clear about where your money is going, and the more likely you are to go into debt. There's a lot of things you can do around debt, but honestly, the number one thing to get out of debt and to avoid it is back to that nourishing spending plan. Your spending is the number one thing that keeps people out of debt.
I like that. And what would you consider money fog? Like you said, it maybe having too many credit cards, but what is your definition of money fog?
Yeah, so money fog, when people are in a money fog, it simply means that they're not clear. And usually it means they're not clear about how much money they spend, or they're not clear about how much they have in debt, or they're not clear about how much they have in their investments and what their net worth is. So it's this vagueness around money. And probably the biggest piece of money fog, Jen, is that people don't know where their money's going. Part of the dilemma is it's a fog, right? So if you drive around in your car in a fog, eventually you're going to hit something, right? Mm-hmm. If it's when. And the biggest thing that people hit when they're in a money fog is debt. They eventually run into credit card debt. Money coaches work a lot on how do we get clear? Because the more money fog you're in, the more financial anxiety you're in. Right. It's a big correlation to stress and anxiety around money and not.
I know there's so many tools out there for budgeting and figuring out where you spend your money. But I know, like, even for my kids who are in college, they don't want to do the budgeting. They don't want to look at where their money's going. But even in our business, we'll say, oh, each quarter, hey, what are the subscription things that we're paying for? And do we still need to pay for them? And I think personally, we forget to look at our subscriptions and who knows how long ago I logged into Hulu, but I'm still paying for it every month. Like I'm almost mostly watching Netflix and HBO. So it's okay. Which one do I really need it? Maybe I should be cutting that out.
It's so funny you say this. I just had this conversation with a client yesterday, same thing about subscriptions. And the visual I gave her was, imagine you've got like a pipe and you've got all these holes in your pipe, and some of them are little tiny like pinprick holes. Here's the Netflix you don't watch, here's the Google thing you don't watch, here's the Apple Pandora that you've stopped listening to a year ago. But so it's all your money is like leaking out the pipe, and it is weakening the flow so that you don't have enough money to go where you want it to go for your hobbies. If you love travel, you probably would rather have a nice solid steady flow of money to go to Europe next summer, not have it out to random stuff.
And I think some of the focus comes of, we struggle with it, we're not making enough money. Maybe we're under earning, and how do we make more to be able to have that freedom? Like sometimes we need to focus on that, don't you think? As well as, because you can only save so much, right? You can cut out only so many subscriptions. And then you wrote a blog post about making more money. Talk about that a little bit.
It's huge. My first book was 100% on the topic of why women don't earn what they want to earn and how to make more, right? Under earning is simply defined as the pattern of earning below your potential. And the three of us know there's a lot of reasons why people don't earn what they want, because things happen. Like the pandemic is not our fault. Or maybe you just get a bad boss that won't promote you. So there's lots of outside forces. But what I think is really interesting about the whole topic of earning your worth is there's a lot that we do control, that we can do around earning what we're worth. And one of the big things that I always encourage people to do is, let's do a little bit of research. Let's look at what people are earning similar to wherever you are in your position. And then let's see, is it time to ask for a raise? I would say if it's been a year and a half-ish and you haven't asked for a raise, it's time. And I know that brings up a lot of fear and a lot of concern for people. And it's a big gender difference in this too, right? We know that men ask for raises more often than women do. They ask for more money. They come into the market asking for more. So there's a lot in this. And the other thing I would throw in, Melanie, is that for women, one of the big helps around earning what you're worth is really bringing your tribe in to support you, really talking with your women friends. And also there's plenty of amazing men that are going to support amazing women also, and really breaking the silence around this and asking for support around, let me think about asking for a raise, and how would the people that you trust advise you? Is it time to up level in another company? A lot of people around you may see it, how amazing you are, and they really want you to be more successful. But so many of us don't talk about this.
I almost think it's like taking what you said in the beginning is reverse engineering it. How much money do you want to make to have those vacations, to do the things that you love and live on passion? What's that number? So if that number is 200,000, 300,000, 100,000, whatever that number is, then say, how do I make that? Do I make that in my current job now? And if not, do I need to supplement my income? Do I need to get a raise? What do I need to do? But if you don't know the number of all the things that you talked about, then how do you know to hit it? Right? That goal.
Melanie, that is a brilliant connection you just made. You're totally spot on, because when I talk about building a nourishing spending plan, it's actually a nourishing spending and income plan. It's exactly what you just said, that when you design the life that you love, the question is, when, what's it cost? And I know people are afraid to look at that. It can feel overwhelming, but looking at it, seeing it, and knowing that number, oh my gosh, is a huge game changer in starting to move you further, closing the gap to actually making it. People don't know what they need to make or what they want to make. And knowing it is so empowering.
And then all the emotion comes into it.
Totally.
Because when we're growing up, they're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? They don't ever say, how much money do you want to make when you grow up? They say, what do you want to be? I want to be a ballet dancer. I want to be a firefighter, or whatever it is, right? And no one ever says to you when you're 10 or however old you are, when you're trying to say what career you want, oh, ballet dancers, unless you make it big time, you're not going to make any money. You just will be doing it for fun. They're not going to tell you that. And then you're just like, oh, okay. But what if that emotion around that, I wish that we were taught differently about, let's set that number and then let's reach that goal, and not put the crazy emotions behind it, instead of just saying, make it a numbers analytical type thing. which if you wrap your brain around that, if you set a number, you can reach it.
Yeah, Jen, I love what you just said. And I've written a lot about this exact, call it a real big disconnect that goes all the way into college, where again, even in college, we're paying how many thousands in college, but even there, the conversation is, what do you want to do? And we're not connecting it to, and how much money will what you want to do generate? And what is the type of lifestyle that you see yourself having, right? Because we're not saying don't talk about what makes you happy. Don't talk about what you want to do. We're just saying, and let's look at what you want to do will be giving you different amounts of money in different fields. And so let's connect it all up, not make money we don't talk about.
And it's the lifestyle questions. You almost need to start there. Kind of the conversation we just had is, okay, do you want, and I've done this with my kids. I've got one that's a freshman in college right now. And I'm like, okay, so let's look at, where do you want to live? What kind of, do you want to live in an apartment? Do you want to live in a townhouse? Do you want to live in the country? Do you want to live in, what does that look like? Okay. And what part of town? So if you live in this part of town, it's going to cost about this much money. So let's start putting that in there. How much does that cost a month to do that? Oh, you want to have, and we created vision boards. Okay. You want to have this kind of truck. That's how much this is. So this is how much you have to, so let's start making the spreadsheet that goes with the dream sheet. And then he wants to be a physics major. That's a researcher. So how much do those average make a year? Okay. So guess what? That doesn't match your vision board. So you're going to need something else to supplement your income, whether it's an investor, real estate investor, something that gives you passive income. So it's creating that whole thing, like you say, the vision of what you want your life to look like, what you think your career is going to look like, of what you may love or be good at. How much does that career make? And does that fund that or not? Or do I need extra?
Oh, your children are so fortunate to have you, Melanie. I wish I've done similar things with my son, and I so wish all parents would do that with their kids, because that conversation it could be a game changer for your son as he thinks through, oh, it could affect the jobs he ends up choosing to take. He could maybe change his major a little bit. He could real estate, like you mentioned earlier, that it never occurred to him. It's just, that is just beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, we could talk about this all day.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, Mikelann. We really appreciate you being here today. Tell us where people can find you.
So Seattle Money Coach. I work with a lot of amazing women, but I love working with women that are just rocking it in midlife. But money is the piece that's driving them crazy. So I would encourage your listeners, if they're curious at all, is go to Seattle Money Coach. I've got clients all over the world, and just grab a free discovery call. I'm happy to talk with people and figure out what's the one thing that's keeping you from feeling in control of your money. And then obviously when people are on the website, there's lots of free goodies, including a 20-page ebook on how to stop stressing about money. So all of that's there. And then social media, everything is going to be Seattle Money Coach, or it's under my name, Mikelann, and you'll find it all there.
Awesome. We'll put that up in the show notes and people can go and find you and register for your free ebook as well.
Awesome. Thanks for coming today. We hope you enjoyed this and got a few great nuggets that will help change your life and motivate you to move towards that financial freedom. I'm Melanie Johnson, one of the owners of Elite Online Publishing, along with Jenn Foster. And if you want to become a #1 best-selling author, we only take certain people that qualify to work with us, but go to our website, hit that author submission button, and see if you're one of the ones that will make a bestseller this year. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, are you looking to increase your revenue, build credibility, and elevate your brand? This podcast is brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, an innovative publishing and full spectrum marketing company. They will publish and market your book to make it a #1 bestseller. Becoming an author is the best way to market your business. So contact them at eliteonlinepublishing.com today. All of their authors become #1 bestsellers.